Hello everyone, I am very glad to see you all. Welcome to the second part of today's video. Thank you to everyone who supports me. I am very glad Jimmy is with you, and we are starting. First story, in the second part from the user, fabulous, plenty, let's listen. So here's the deal. My 28 male girlfriend, 27 female, of 2 years, and I planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for the flights, hotels, everything, because I make more than she does, and I wanted it to be a stress-free trip for both of us. Everything was great until the last day when she tells me she wants to stay longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She didn't discuss this with me beforehand, and it completely blindsided me. I was hurt and told her that if she feels she needs time alone, then she should also be independent financially during this extension of her trip. I said I wouldn't be paying for her new return ticket whenever she decides to come back. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish, and some of our friends are saying I'm being an a-hole because I left her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. So, Reddit, AITA, for refusing to pay for her new plane ticket home after she chose to extend her trip without any heads up? Author update this story. Thank you to all the people who responded, especially the early ones who gave some outside verification of me probably not being the asshole. I don't feel comfortable saying I'm completely blameless here, because you're only getting one side of the story, and I need to take responsibility for my part in this whole thing such as it is. But I guess I never realized how good my GF was at making me feel like unreasonable dump was normal and rational, and that I was the crazy one. So here's the update. We're both back in America now, and she's packing her dump to go stay with her family for a bit until she can find a new place. Soon after I posted, it was time to go to the airport, so I did without her. I'm one of those people who arrives really early because I never think I'll get to the gate in time, because everything that could go wrong probably would go wrong. It never does, but especially with how I was feeling my luck was going, I didn't want to push it. I was there for about an hour by myself, mulling things over and talking to my mom. I looked at a couple responses to this post, but I didn't trust that I wouldn't lose it if I started responding, and I definitely didn't want to burst into tears while I was in the airport. As I was talking to my mom, my GF showed up. I guess she thought I was bluffing, but had a rude awakening when the hotel staff kicked her out of the room because I'd only paid through that day. I took no small amount of satisfaction in this NGL. She'd been so concerned about the plane ticket that she didn't even stop to think about where she was going to stay. As many of you guessed, she met someone while we were in Italy. She was quick to tell me that it was just a physical attraction and that they hadn't done anything. But she had his and was wanting to see if it'd go anywhere. I guess that's what I get for not feeling well and wanting to stay in one night while she went out to explore. Obviously, I told her things were over between us, even though she tried to make it sound like nothing had happened. The fact was A, I couldn't feel like I could trust her when she said that, and B, I don't really want to be with someone who feels like it's okay to still keep her options open when she's been in a monogamous relationship for the past 2 years. The flight home was awkward, as in she tried really hard to give another pitch for why we should stay together on the drive home from the airport. I think, as we got closer to home, reality started setting in, and she realized she'd just thrown a lot away. So yeah, I'm jet-lagged, and physically and emotionally exhausted. I'm just kind of numb at this point. Finally, I didn't see all the comments, as there are 2.5K at the time of this update. But, to the few that were downvoted into oblivion, who said this was fake because I hadn't updated in several hours. I was looking for reasonable dissenting opinions that might have helped me make sense of this situation, and you're accusing me of making this up for random internet points. Believe it or not, my priority was not to tell a bunch of strangers on the internet how my world was falling apart around me. I know it's easy to think that these people aren't real and their struggles are meaningless because screens divide us, but, ironically, you're the assholes. What I think about this story. I 100% bet she tried to weasel her way to staying with her new Italian crush, but the dude was like, I specifically sleep with tourists so that they go away afterward, and I never have to see them again, and they have no expectations of me. The next story from the user, Gema, let's listen. I am in a gaming group that has about 10 members, 18-25 female or male, including my boyfriend and I. A month ago, I had a fallout with a member in the group, who I'll call Roger, 25 male. Basically, I don't like Roger. All he ever does is degrade and talk about our women who are backstabbing, who you can never trust, and how much he loves to smoke weed and do drugs. Hearing those things constantly became a drag, so I decided that I did not want to around him anymore. Ever since I cut off contact, I've been excluded from games whenever Roger plays because he does not want me there. Even my boyfriend told me not to join because it'll piss off Roger. Obviously, I don't want to play with Roger either, so this is fine with me. The thing is, when Roger is playing, I'm excluded from the group as I can't play with anyone else because they're all playing with Roger. This happens 3 or 4 days every week, and they play for 5-6 hours a day. I'm really shy, so I don't talk much in the group games besides doing the usual callouts. I know everyone would much rather play with Roger than me since he's more outgoing and fun to them, so I don't interfere. Even so, I still feel like for being left out constantly. My boyfriend didn't even defend me the first time I was excluded. He just told me to not join ever again and left it at that. Only one other person in the group has defending me, and that is my best friend 19M since middle school. When I first told him about the situation, he got really angry and asked me if I wanted him to stop playing with Roger too. I know my boyfriend and best friend love playing with Roger though, so I didn't ask them to stop. Last night, Roger and the group were all playing again. I decided to look for some other groups online to play with because being alone sucks. While on a break from his game, my boyfriend asked what I was doing. I told him casually that I was looking for a new gaming group to play with. His reaction was not what I was expecting. He got upset and kept questioning me why I wanted to leave our old gaming group. I told him since I'm being excluded from our old group so often, I may as well find a new group to play with because I obviously don't fit in anymore. Even after my answers, he would keep asking me why I couldn't just stay and participate in the group often. How am I supposed to participate in a group when I'm being excluded from it weekly? At that point, I told my boyfriend to stop talking to me about this subject and to leave it. He then said to me that I was overreacting to being excluded from the group and then went on a rant about why I couldn't just be happy for once since he still plays with me daily. My boyfriend and I do play daily, but we play alone with just us two, since no one else in the group can play at the times we're online. Being excluded from playing with everyone else is what makes me feel like dump, not being excluded from playing with my boyfriend. I told him that if I find a new group, I would always play with him first, no matter what. However, I just want to find a new group to play with when he and everyone else are playing with Roger, since I can't join in the first place, and playing alone sucks. He said fine in an annoyed tone, and we left it at that. We haven't spoken about it since, but I can tell he's upset over it. Am I really overreacting to the situation? Do I just ignore my boyfriend for now? Do I say something? This is the first time I've ever seen him so upset over something I did. I'm not sure what to do. Author update this story. Thank you everyone for all the advice. And thank you to those that also offered to play with me. I wasn't expecting my post to get so many replies. Unfortunately, I had some unrelated family business, so I couldn't respond to you all. However, I have read everything and have taken all your words into consideration. Some people have also asked me questions about how we can play so often, how long I've been with my boyfriend, so I'll just give a brief background skip to the next line if you don't want to read it. First off, most of us are college students 18-20, either working part-time or staying at home with our parents. As of right now, most of us are on summer break. We only have 2 older members in the group, which are Roger 25M and another guy 23M. The rest of us are or fall under 20. Roger is actually married and his wife makes good bank, so he has a ton of free time. Second, about my boyfriend. Surprisingly, we met through the gaming group as he was the one who advertised it, which was how I found and joined the group. That was about 2 years ago, and about a couple of months after we met, we just clicked and started dating. My boyfriend has known Roger for about 3 years, so they're close friends. However, Roger did not join the group until 6 months ago, as my boyfriend invited him because he thought it'd be fun to have him there too. I did not know much of Roger, other than that he was my boyfriend's friend until he joined the group. So after I posted my original post, I signed up for 2 different groups. The first one was an all-women's group, 1620F. They responded to me pretty quickly. They were very nice and polite, but explained that they only play once or twice a week. Unfortunately, that didn't cut it for me. The second group responded to me the next day, and I learned that they were more active, but that they're also an all-men's group, 17-Nicenum. However, they were open to having me there. At first, I felt pretty sketched, but the oldest and most popular guy, 19M there, took me aside and explained to me that he does not tolerate any type of harassment, and that he will definitely kick out any of the other guys if they were bothering me. Hearing that made me feel more comfortable, and I played some games with them. I had so much fun. All the guys were really nice and friendly. No vulgar remarks, no more screaming of profanity against women. It was nice being in a group of people who were happy to play with me. After I finished my games and left, my boyfriend called and asked if we could talk. When he came over, before I could even ask or speak myself, he told me he was really sorry and that he screwed up big time, and he understands how wrong he was. He said he didn't want me to go to a new group because he feared that I would leave him too for some new guy. Then he told me that he didn't realize how hurt I was from being excluded from the group because I had never complained or voiced against it, which was true. I never complained about the exclusions or even Roger's behavior before because I knew it would just cause more conflict. I also didn't want my boyfriend to stop playing with his friends because of me. I explained this to him, and he said he was sorry for not defending and comforting me like he should have been in the first place. To my surprise, he then showed me his text messages between him and Roger that happened a few months ago. Apparently, way before my exclusion, Roger had a few conversations with my boyfriend, telling him how much of a pain it was to play with me there. He wanted my boyfriend to kick me out. However, my boyfriend refused and told Roger that was not happening. Then, around the time when I decided to stop hanging out around Roger, that's when Roger sent a group text to everyone in the group explaining how he doesn't want me to play with the group again, and he hopes everyone understands. Everyone, and to my shock, even my best friend, all agreed with him. Only my boyfriend protested, but Roger was really stubborn, and he had the whole group to support him, so my boyfriend gave up. After showing me those texts, he told me next that he kicked Roger from their group earlier today. Roger was not allowed to play with them anymore, but my boyfriend said he'd still be willing my play with Roger one-on-one, but only like once a month. Surprisingly, Roger agreed, and that was that. My boyfriend said he understood if I didn't want to be with him anymore, but said that he truly does love me. Honestly, even after all that has happened, I'm not mad at my boyfriend. This is both of ours first relationship, and we're still learning. He's always been kind to me, and I've never had a problem with him before this situation occurred. I feel happy that he realized his mistakes and did apologize without me asking. This is the first time he's ever come across a situation where he has no choice but to choose a side. So I don't blame him for trying to do anything to keep the group together. He told me he would also like me to come back to our old group, but he said it's completely fine if I stay with my new group. He knows it was wrong of him to ask me not to join a new group. I told him I don't think I'll ever come back to the old group and that I will definitely be sticking with my new group from now on. However, I will always make time for him and put him first. He accepted it without any protest, and we went back to our usual fun activities. I feel bad that my boyfriend may have lost a close friend, since I never asked him to do any of that for me. Regardless, I am happy, and lately my boyfriend and I have been spending more time together now that R isn't around as much. I have also continued playing with my new group, and it's been awesome. If you've made it this far, thanks for reading this long update. Sorry for the ramble and mistakes, my mind is all over the place right now, and I wanted to explain as much as I could. Thank you guys once again. What I think about this story. I hope OP realizes that her so-called BFF asking her if he should leave the group is the unwise possible thing for him to do. That's making her responsible for something that he should be deciding to do. If she says yes, leave, then it's her fault. And if she says no, don't leave. Then she said he didn't have to. What's her problem? A real friend would take responsibility for his actions and decide for himself to leave or not. Let's see user comment. I really hope that's not the case though. Girl, he literally told you it was. She's got to learn to believe people when they show you who they are. Thank you all for being with me today. I am very grateful for your support, but that's all for today. Do not forget to write comments under the video. I read them all. I love you all. Good to everyone.